Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us on Across the Fence. I'm Jolie Whitney. Summer has given way to autumn, which around here means it's apple season. Whether you like your apples baked in a pie, crushed and pressed into cider, or as a garnish for a big salad. Our resident chef, Marco Ayala, who's always the apple of our eye, is here with a barrel full of apple recipes, and I can assure you there's not one bad one in the bunch. Like me, I'm sure be it apples or oranges, we can all agree Marco is beyond compare.
Fall is my favorite season of the year. The leaves start turning, which is such a beautiful thing to see here in Vermont. But the other reason that I like fall is the food. The food is great because we have all these harvest veggies still coming in, all these things that are right now fresh and ready to eat. And thinking about that, well, also another thing that happens in the fall is football. All the sporting events start happening, and there's one thing that I really like about sports: getting together with friends and sharing some food, some appetizers, some snacks. And that's how I came up with the idea to make something that's somewhat better for you, but it's still good enough to share with all of your friends on game night. And that's how I decided to make this air fryer buffalo cauliflower. And I know that I'm saying air fryer, which implies that this is low fat, but you will never know it. So let me tell you how to put this together. First, you're gonna take one large head cauliflower and you're gonna start removing all the florets. And as you remove all the pieces of the cauliflower, cut the florets into 1.5 inch pieces. Then, to a bowl, you're gonna add 4 tablespoons melted butter and 1/2 cup to 3/4 cup cayenne pepper sauce, commonly known as buffalo sauce. And mix these ingredients well. The one thing that is important to remember also is that it's really going to depend on how spicy you like your food, the kind of sauce that you're gonna use. Because buffalo sauce comes in mild, medium, or hot, and the amount of sauce that you're gonna use is really going to depend on the amount of cauliflower that you have to coat. Then, to the bowl, you're gonna add the cauliflower, and you're gonna mix it well until all the pieces are well coated with the buffalo sauce. In a separate dish, you're gonna add 1.5 cups breadcrumbs and 2 teaspoons no salt seasoning. And as you can see here, I use panko breadcrumbs instead of just plain breadcrumbs because I like them a little better. However, if you don't have panko at home, you can use breadcrumbs and it's going to come out just as good. Then, to the breadcrumbs, you're gonna add half of the cauliflower and you're gonna toss it well to coat it with the breading. Once the cauliflower is well coated, you're gonna transfer it to your air fryer. And you're gonna set it to 350 degrees and cook it for about 12 to 15 minutes until the cauliflower is golden brown and cooked thoroughly but not mushy. And that is it. It is really that easy. The only thing you have to do is cook the rest of the cauliflower with the breadcrumbs. And I like to serve it with ranch dressing. You could also use blue cheese. So it's really going to depend on how you like to serve it. And I think that is something that your family and friends are really going to enjoy. So I hope you give it a try. So now that we have our appetizer covered, let's talk about apples. Because as all of you know, because I've mentioned this many times, I love Vermont apples. And I think that we're lucky that here in Vermont, we have great apples and we have a lot of apple producers. So I already picked some apples. So I decided that I wanted to cook with them. And I made easy skillet pork chops with apples. And Boy, does this smell good. And I think that you are going to love it because it uses a lot of ingredients that are in season. It really packs a punch with the apple because it takes not only apple slices, but also apple cider, which is another thing that I really love. So let me tell you how to put it together. First, you're gonna take 2 large pork chops, about 1 inch thick, and 8 to 10 ounces each. And with a knife or a fork, you're gonna prick it all over. Then you're gonna flip it and repeat the pricking on the other side. Then, to a large Ziploc bag, you're gonna add 2 cups apple cider and half a cup water and 1/4 cup kosher salt. Then you're gonna add the pork chops and seal the bag. And you're gonna place the bag in the fridge for 30 minutes or overnight. I've never heard before of making a brine with apple cider, but it makes perfect sense because the acidity in the apple cider actually tenderizes the meat and helps infuse the meat with all those flavors and the sugar in the apple cider. When ready to cook the pork chops, remove them from the brine, set the pork chops aside, and throw away the brine. Then you're gonna take 1 apple and you're gonna core it and cut the slices into 1/4 inch thick slices. Then you're gonna take a yellow onion and cut it into 1/2 inch wedges. Then you're gonna place a skillet on medium-high heat. Spray it with non-stick cooking spray. And once it starts smoking, you're gonna add your pork chops. Make sure to cook your pork chops well, about 4 to 5 minutes on each side. Once your pork chops are cooked, you're gonna remove them from the pan and set them aside. Then to the skillet, you're gonna add 1 teaspoon canola oil. You're gonna add the onion, 4 cloves garlic, and 4 sprigs fresh thyme. And then cook it until the onions are translucent. Add your apples and 1/2 cup apple cider. And bring the pork chops back onto the skillet. Cook it until the apples are cooked through and the juices have thickened. And aside from the fact that you have to let it marinate, cooking it is actually very easy and very fast. You can have the dinner ready in about half an hour. So it's great for any day of the week. And as I said, and I know I say this a lot, that these are, so fragrant and they're so good, but no, seriously, these are some of the best pork chops I've ever tried. This is the kind of meal that you will probably pay $40 at a restaurant, and you can make it for a fraction of that cost at home. And since we're talking apples, well, let's now make a dessert featuring all those great apples that are in season. So that's how I decided to make an apple crumble. Let's talk about sort of like that basic recipe that is going to please everyone and that you can put together in a pinch if you needed to. So let me tell you how to put it together. First, you're gonna take 2 pounds tart apples, about 4 to 5 such as Granny Smith or Honeycrisp. You're gonna peel them, core them, and slice them into 1/4 inch thick slices. Then, in a separate bowl, you're gonna add 2 tablespoons cornstarch and 1/4 cup sugar, 1 teaspoon ground cinnamon. Then you're gonna take 1 tablespoon freshly squeezed lemon juice and pour it over the apples. And you're gonna mix them well until all of the apples are coated. For the topping, in a separate bowl, you're gonna add 1 cup all-purpose flour, 1/2 cup brown sugar, 1/2 cup chopped walnuts, 1 teaspoon baking powder, 1/4 teaspoon kosher salt, and 1 stick unsalted butter that you have chopped into small pieces. Then you're gonna prepare an 8x8 baking dish by spraying it with non-stick cooking spray. Add the apples and spread them into an even layer. Then you're gonna scatter the crumble topping evenly over the fruit mixture, making sure that those large clumps are intact. Then you're gonna bake it at 375 degrees for 30 to 35 minutes until the juices are bubbling and the topping is golden brown. And this is your basic crumble recipe. As I always say, make sure to make all these recipes your own. It looks so good. It's, I wish you could smell it. It's very fragrant with cinnamon. We cannot not use a little bit of maple syrup to finish it off. So look at that. A little bit of maple syrup on top and it's ready to serve. And I always like encouraging people to shop local and support your local farmers. And on that note, I also want to encourage you to connect with Across the Fence on social media. So follow us on Twitter, like our Facebook page, and subscribe to our YouTube channel so you can get all the updates for Across the Fence right on your phone or your computer. And, well, I don't know what to try, so I think I'm just gonna go the easy route and try some of this cauliflower that looks so good. So, enjoy your food, get out there, pick some apples, make some pies, crumbles, or pork chops, or your favorite recipe this season. Happy cooking.
Thank you, Marco. I also want to thank the crew behind the scenes here at WCAX who makes our visits Across the Fence possible. I'm Jolie Whitney. Have a good one.